Hi, welcome to Nollywood Film Club. I'm Mr. C, a critic. I hope you're doing well. Um, we have Nollyfight for you this week. If you've been paying attention to us on our Twitter, I don't think we said it last week on the podcast. I'm not sure. But if we did, you'd be aware of it. If you rated this podcast 5 stars, you'd be aware of it because everybody who rates 5-star podcast gets our personal phone number and email and a word of gratitude from us. That's not true, but you should still rate us 5 stars, please. So this Nolly Bite does get heated. For those of you who don't know, this is a debate show, so yes, it does tendencies for that. You'll hear it yourself. There is a walkout in this one, which was very interesting, but a fun debate nonetheless. And I do hope you enjoy this Nollyfight.
We're ready now. Okay, we're all here. Okay, first off, welcome to Nollywood Film Club's 100th space. And welcome to Nollyfight, the longest running number one Nollywood debate show in the world. From sometimes the number 5 podcast in the film section in Nigeria, and actually top 42 in Guinea. This is true. Facts, big facts. I'm the sarcastic and judge, Mr. C, and here with me is my co-host, the fact checker for tonight, and the less problematic half of Eureka critic, Mrs. C. Say hello. Today we have a spicy debate for you. We have 3 Nollywood Film Club vets going toe to toe to toe. First up, she's a returning fighter, a finalist for that matter, and don't forget she hates raisins. On God, she's never dull. It's biblically accurate, Barbie. Biblically accurate, Barbie. I'm going to be calling you Bab for short because I can't be biblically accurate, Barbie, all the time. No, Bab. Bab is for biblically accurate, Barbie.
Barbie works.
By the way,
but I accept all names.
By the way, did you like my pun? That you're never dull.
No.
But Barbie, I thought it was great, to be honest. Well, do you feel any pressure of being an experienced fighter, especially having been to the finals? How do you feel?
I feel great. No pressure at all.
Okay. All right. Second, she's a Nollywood Film Club fan favorite. She's also voted the favorite for today's Nollyfight. Our one and only beta test Nollyfighter. It's Nancy's biggest fan. The Trails of Uncouth Fugitives. I'm gonna call you fugitives on Uncouth for short. Again.
Also, all of una will vote for me. You people should stop this. You people should stop this. You cannot put me on high tension wire. It's not good. I'm not you people's favorite. You people should have left me at the underdog. Is this not right?
Uncouth, you cannot be an underdog.
All right. How do you feel given your experience in the beta test? Do you feel like you can take on
offense to that thing, given that I won, not experience?
Okay. All right. Okay.
But then again, I'm not proud though. I'm cautiously yes, I'm cautiously optimistic. I acknowledge the people that I am battling with are incredible minds with great knowledge of Nollywood, incredibly witty, especially biblically accurate Barbie, who made it to the finals.
It's too late. It's too late for all this. It's too late for all this. Rachel,
no, shush. And we have a sleeper agent. We have a sleeper agent in Babyface Assassin. And I just want to say, I truly recognize my opponents and their abilities.
All right. Thank you for your recognition. Last but not least, we're bringing her back from sports Twitter. What sports, you may ask? All of them. Athletics, tennis, football. She's a master of all the games. She's also a games master and the director of Games Night. So what if she has little Nollyfight experience? Underestimate her at your own peril. It's the baby-faced assassin. Baby-faced assassin. How do you feel being the one with the least experience here in terms of Nollyfight.
Again, underestimate me at your own peril. I'm here to win.
Okay.
I'm here to win. I may be a new fighter per se, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see. But I'm here to win.
Everybody is locked and loaded, ready to bring war. Thanks to our wonderful audience for coming down as well. Just in case you're not familiar with the Nollyfight rules, it's simple. Debaters will take turn in giving us a short introduction why their answers are the ones that should be picked. When the floor is open after the introduction, the floor will be open for the Nollyfight while I moderate. Then there'll be 4 questions in the first round. The Nolly fighter with the lowest score will be eliminated, and then we'll go into the speed round. Mrs. C will always be fact checking just in case somebody wants to lie or exaggerate overly creatively. And we'll pick the winner of the debate based on creativity, quantity, and quality of points, not based on what I like. And when I come to you, to the audience, it's not based on what you like either. It's based on what the people say. All right. Okay. In the case of, so in the case of a close call, we'll begin to the audience. If Mrs. C and I disagree, we'll begin to the audience for you to give us who you think has won. All right. So all of that said, let's begin. All right. Are we ready? Question number 1. Nollywood has had a few good opening scenes over the years, but what is the best Nollywood movie opening? And we're going to start with Bob. Bob, please tell us what is the best Nollywood movie opening.
The best Nollywood opening is Gangs of Lagos. So Gangs of Lagos they did such a strong opening, from the colors to the cultural representation and the little story and the history of how the gangs in Lagos came into place, which ties in very much directly to the story that they're trying to tell. And so it's just a visually captivating entrance, and it starts strong. It starts as a strong statement, really. Just it dives right into the meat of it and the violence of it, and just the use of tradition as a cover for violence. And then it pivots, I think, masterfully into the opening sequence, which is also quite visually masterful, with the coloration and the score. And that intrigues you and keeps you going into the movie before it starts.
Okay, all right. So Gangs of Lagos opening for Bob. All right, on Couch Fugitives, please tell us what you think the best Hollywood opening scene
The
is.
best Nollywood opening scene is in the 2019 film Living in Bondage Breaking Free, directed by Ramsey Noah. In totality, this was a beautifully executed opening scene where everything came together to work for its good, succeeding in setting the tone and throwing us directly into the film. I give you Living in Bondage Breaking Free. The voiceover with the young child singing an Igbo nursery rhyme / lullaby made this the best opening scene, mainly because it did what it was supposed to do. That scene was eerie, grabbed you by the metaphorical blockhouse, and had you wanting to see what was next. It was a classic horror trope adapted to the Nigerian reality and done well. We knew the hammer was going to drop, but we wanted to see how. Technically, too, this opening scene was well executed, with a fantastic drone shot of a lone car driving in the dark that captured the eeriness of the moment. The acting, too, contributed to making this the best opening scene in Nollywood. Ain Nwigwe and our child actor delivered a stunningly convincing performance. The child's implicit trust in her father was obvious, because why wouldn't she believe that her father would not hurt her? So she'd go anywhere with him. Her innocence is a major part of what sells this scene. And Aina's stoic stare as he drives into the darkness, both literally and figuratively, as he steels his mind for what he is about to do, is amazing to watch. It was very obvious that this scene was as a result of a collaborative endeavor between the writers, Ramsey Noah as director, the cinematographer, actors, and editors to create this masterpiece of an opener.
Oh, okay, all right. Full of her whole good essentially of why that was Living in Bondage is the best thing. Okay, all right. And Babyface Assassin, please tell us
Okay, so the best opening scene in a Nollywood film, in my opinion, is Emofe. So Emofe, the first thing you see when the film starts is this, box of wires, electric box. I don't know what it's called, but first of all, the first thing it does is it already tells you, okay, this is like a factory, or this is, and you see the man. So what it does is establishes the setting, the tone, and it also like takes you already know who the character is. You know that this is an electrician. He makes a phone call complaining about it. So you know that, okay, this is an electrician that is maybe down on his luck, and it's a factory that has wahala. So what it does for you, like, and it didn't need to be loud, it didn't need to be, this is, it's a Nollywood opening where you are just, it's the tone is set for the kind of film it is already. You know that, okay, it's a bit, of a, it's a bit of a, the tone is a bit slower than, most Nollywood films. The tone is set, the character is introduced to you, and you can already, decipher one or two things about it, and the kind of person he is. And yeah, the cinematography, the colors, everything, like even the way they put the title card like right in the middle of like the electric box and everything before they now go to where they write Spain just after that scene. It's masterful. Yeah, it's the best opening in Hollywood film.
Okay, before thanks, Babyface Assassin. Okay, before everybody goes into the fight, I just want to announce. I forgot to announce at the beginning that our fighters are likely to either exaggerate or take positions they don't actually believe in because they are trying to win a debate here. So don't don't crucify them for any opinion. All right. Having said that, you guys have at it. Why is yours better than the other ones?
Firstly, I find it very laughable that Gangs of Lagos is supposed to be the best opening in Nollywood. Firstly, Toby Bakare's voiceover was unnecessary. The music was quite leading. It was very clear that they wanted us to feel something with this scene, but what they wanted to feel us to feel, I still don't know. Was this suspense? Were we supposed to feel pity? Because if that was what they wanted, it failed. Also, the acting in that opening scene was dreadful. I assumed that Obalola's mother was supposed to give this blood curdling scream that's supposed to grab us as soon as she sees her husband gunned down in front of her. But the actors let us down in that scene. And then not only does it not end there, it goes into some animated intro card that feels like it belongs more at the end of the film or maybe in a series. That film could have just begun and picked up after a fade to black. Also, cultural representation or task. I don't know if you want to go with that. The state of Lagos was so offended by that opening, the indigenes of Isailoko sued the makers of Gangs of
And
Lagos.
every time Nigeria is offended by something, it's because it's true.
It's not,
Anyways,
well,
while the nice
doesn't change the fact
intro
that
for living
the
in
culture was
bondage with the
accurately
child's
represented.
voice evokes some mystery, it falls short of everything else. You can't say that Gangs of Lagos is leading when living in bondage is literally a lone car driving with a child in the middle of the night. What else could be happening but sacrifice?
But
It
then
has no
again,
mystery. The mystery
Okay,
ends at the girl's song, and then they go to the forest where he chops off her head. The movie itself stops short of actually showing you anything that's really happening, other than the badly done Caucasian doll that he grabs up that is splattered in blood.
your
The
argument is
father
a bit your
himself
argument is a
has
bit
zero
moot because
emotion for
this
as
fight
he
is not
chops
about
off
the
his daughter's
entirety of
head.
the film.
No
This fight is not about
confliction,
the entirety of the
no
film. This
emotion,
fight is about the opening
nothing.
scene. So your argument
You're
is
killing
moot
your
if it
daughter.
has
How is
anything.
that a great opener?
No, your argument is moot
On that
because
end, though,
this
while
fight
living in
is about the
bondage does at
totality
least
of the
try to
film.
promise mystery and fail at it. And Emofe, on the other hand,
I think
starts
I
out
think I
boring
think
and
Yours failed in
monotone
saying that.
and
totality
continues
All
with
that
right.
way.
cultural
Okay.
representation. I'm not done
Off
with
the
my fight, so I
bat,
still
we're
have to go. I don't
starting with a timid
fail.
man who is
All right.
boring
I need to hear
and
from
sits in a
Babyface
lamp.
Assassin.
Why is that a good opener?
Okay,
Babyface
so
Assassin, what do you think of all of this? What's
okay,
yours?
so firstly, I think saying Gangs of Lagos has the best opening in Hollywood film is very funny to me, because I know that when when an opening scene starts with narration, or when it starts with someone telling a story, it's supposed to be memorable. It's not.
It was so
Like, you
memorable
Exactly.
it
think
caught
of
the
films.
attention of
Exactly.
Lagos.
That voiceover, that
No,
It
what
was
narration was
so
sufficient
attention?
for
memorable
If
it
I
caught
everybody
ask
that
you
this is
headlines.
today,
something for
if
this
I
film.
if
So
I
that's
ask
all
a
I'm going to say
random,
about that.
a random moviegoer, okay, if I ask a random movie goer,
What did he
okay,
say in that
as far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. It's a line that most people know. You know the film straight up because the narration is it's the opening scene. The narration, like if an opening scene starts with it's supposed to be memorable. I don't know what Toby
It
said.
was
I know he was saying
unnecessary.
a
It
lot of
didn't do
words,
anything for the
but
film.
what like it didn't do anything.
I
Like what am
agree.
I? He was just
I
waffling. Like he
agree.
was just saying a lot of
A
words.
lot of
Like
words.
what it was saying a lot of words. It had not like really
Really.
like it was not was it? It wasn't
All right.
memorable. There was no need for it.
Yeah.
And as for living in bondage, oh please,
Don't
like
come for me
they
because
were
I'm about to
trying
come
to.
for your film. What?
That's fine.
While
Do me, I do you.
no
It's not hard.
wala, while Eyimofe's opening theme is technically capable, I will give it that, and maybe fits in with the rest of the pace of the rest of the film. It wasn't very strong. It can be argued that it loses itself in the metaphor that it's showing and thus creates a disconnect for the audience. Showing a
What does that even mean? Like it loses.
hold on,
Okay, okay,
showing a
okay.
box of wires, of electrical wires, doesn't do anything for the audience, especially the general Nigerian
No,
just especially the general Nigerian moviegoer who may be first of all confused by what that means. It can also be argued and take that
so
as
Nigerians
me
are dumb. They
arguing
don't know what
and
an
take that
electric box
hold on
is.
take that as me
All right.
arguing that Eyimofe
I
doesn't
All
can't
have
believe you
an
right.
guys are
Okay.
arguing
We're
opinion.
gonna
about
have to.
electrical
Eyimofe
box. That's
doesn't
how
really have
boring
We'll
a
have
this
to
room
persona
call
as
it
we're
is.
trusting.
Badamasi taking over. Haha. All right. Okay. Yeah, that's. I have to. Let's move into closing arguments, and everybody can have like 30 seconds to say why they think theirs is the best and why they think the other one is better than the other one. All right. Starting with Bob, your closing arguments, please. Bob, do you remember
You
who
were
you are?
muting us. Like, what is your issue?
I muted you guys. I muted you guys.
Anyways, visually masterful. The opening scene delivers the story that it's trying to tell very well and leads you right into the movie. It does so much better than anything AMFA puts up, which is nothing. A long opener that actually never ends, and yeah, the child's voice is the only good thing about the other one. Can't even remember the name right now.
All right. Thanks, Bob. All right. Fugitive,
a total
please.
a total collaborative endeavor between writer, director, cinematographer, and actors and editor to create what became a beautiful opener that was memorable and still is memorable. Unlike Gangs of Lagos, which was totally forgettable. Love Ayo dancing, but really completely unforgettable. And I agree, Eyimofe's opener wasn't really much of an opener because it just continues into the movie. So I don't think it counts as an opener.
Okay. Baby faced assassin.
Okay, an opener is supposed to establish the film. That's what Amofe does. As for Gangs of Lagos, if you can remove that thing from the film and start it from somewhere else and nothing will be lost. You can't do that for my film, for Amofe. Then as for living in bondage, I get that they wanted to try and pay like homage to, old Nollywood and give that eerily scary feel, but it just felt like a Tesco version of what they were trying to do and it didn't give. So yes, that's so I believe that mine had the best opening. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
That's a good first round. I
That
thought.
was a feisty first
Yeah,
round. I love it.
We
We started
started
with clean.
hot. I knew it was coming, Sha. I knew it was coming. These people have been cooking. All right. First off, my where I'm going straight away is that these two gangs only go straight up because one thing
They
they
went for it, block.
one thing they did do straight away was they gave credit to each other's movies, but they even laughed. They even like both of them said, I don't know whether they shared notes. Both of them said for Gangs of Lagos to even be it's
Give it more
laughable.
credit. Really.
Yeah, which is effective rhetorically. I know, even without exactly having much substance, but I do think there was a thing at the end there from Babyface Assassin where she said, "If you take it out,
Nothing changes.
Nothing really
You don't
changes.
lose anything.
You don't really lose
Yeah.
anything. Yeah, and I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah.
I'd have to agree with
Although
that.
I do I think on Cal's point about Gaul, the cultural representation offending you know, Lagos, and then Bab's rebuttal that just so when Nigeria was offended, does that mean it's true? Which
yeah.
I think was a good rebuttal to
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I thought it was a good rebuttal as well. I do think Uncle Fujitis came with actual she was ready in the sense that she had her list of all the things that was good about that living in bondage opener. I do like the mixture of all the director cinematographer.
Yeah, I know that. I'm like, oh, we have details about the film, the 2019 film with this director. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, my initial thing is between living in bondage and a human affair.
I think for me, because I haven't rewatched any of these recently except Gangs of Lagos that we watched recently, right? So I think Bobby, as much as we've dragged Gangs of Lagos, I think Bob did a good job of reminding me what that opener was. And I think Uncalf did a good job of reminding me of the opening of Living in Bondage as well. Like I could go back to how I felt when I was watching it. But I don't think Babyface Assassin gave me a proper representation of the opening of a Yumo Fair.
Okay.
So I didn't go back to that feeling of that opening.
I'm at this moment, I think I'm leaning towards Uncle Fugitive.
Uncle Fugitives, Living in Bondage.
All right, okay. So Uncle Fugitive gets the point. All right, so we are 1-0 up. All right, there's still 3 more rounds to go. Thanks. But I liked it. It was hot fight. All right. Okay. All right. So the second question is: some people may have complained about IG comedians in Nollywood. Some people, not us. Some people. But who is Nollywood's best use of an Instagram comedian? Who I imagine that's who and what character. All right, and we are starting this time with Trails of Uncalf Fugitives.
Okay. My answer is Nosa Folabi, aka Lasisi Elenu, as Tammy Johnson in the 2021 film The Raz Guy. Lasisi is Nollywood's best use of an Instagram comedian for a number of reasons. First is that while this film was a comedy, he was not a sideshow character whose entire purpose in the film was to be an extension of their Instagram persona, as is usually the case when these comedians are cast in films. Lasisi is the lead in this film, and so the majority of the storytelling rests on his shoulders, and he does a fantastic job. For one, Lasisi isn't left to improv/freestyle his character or his dialogue for most of the film. It is clear that in much of the first act, his character and his dialogue were written very deliberately. Lasisi's solid performance in the first act makes the switch that his character makes even more funny and impactful. Lasisi was successful as a comedic actor in this, not because he was an Instagram comedian, but because he was a good actor.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, baby-faced assassin.
Okay, so I'm going for Mr. Macaroni as Bayewu in Ainla. Mr. Macaroni played Bayewu, who was Ainla's. Sorry if I'm not getting the pronunciations of the name. He was Ainla's manager in the film 2021 film Ainla, and he played. It was a biopic first of all. To see Mr. Macaroni, who normally has this comedic persona in his Instagram skits, taking on that role. And I believe that was the role that made people realize, because I think that was one of his first roles in Nollywood before he started, like now he's been acting a lot, but that was the introduction to his acting prowess. We saw him act, he had this villainy tendencies. He was the one who got into the fight with Ainla at the end. He was the one trying to, he didn't just act as, he acted as the antagonist. And he played that role very well, and it made people know. It was like a message to everyone that, I am not just an Instagram comedian. And I believe that that was what even informed a lot of, he because nowadays he always says that, he's actually a trained professional, and that was the film that made people know that, oh, he's not just that guy that wears red agbada and says, oh, you're doing well or you're doing this. He's actually a thespian, and it showed in bringing a real person's character to life. We could feel we could feel him as the manager. We could feel even the ending scene, that, the one that was the brawl at the end. We could see Mr. Macaroni bring this character to life, and that's why I believe that that is the best use of an IG comedian, because that now made, we think of, how Toy Bakare, how people say BBN actors, they shouldn't be in films. Now nobody really classifies Toy Bakare as a BBN, person. They play.
Oh, don't know if we lost Babyface Assassin. Okay, all right, but
Sorry, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay. So you know how, like, people always complain that BBN superstars go into Nollywood and they're not so great, and nobody complains for Toby, because Sugar Rush did that thing that showed his acting prowess, and nobody really regards him as that BBN person anymore. That's kind of what Anila did for Mr. Macaroni. It showed people that he's not just that guy that is making skits. He actually has the ability to perform and take on a role in a biopic.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Babyface Assassin. Bob, tell us.
So when you say Bob,
it's kind of odd name, but I think there's something to be said for staying within your wheelhouse and doing what you're good at very well. Brother Shaggy plays a pivotal part of Day of Destiny as a sort of modern native doctor here. I think because he stays within his wheelhouse, he's able to deliver beautifully. The character gives him some space to expand on something he's familiar with, but he's also able to raise up the ante of ridiculousness. He manages to maintain his essence and whimsy while playing a pivotal part of the story and moving the story along. And that's why I think he's the best to use.
Okay. Naughty Fighters, have at it.
Sorry to go at you again, Bab, but to purport that Day of Destiny has the best use of an Instagram comedian in Nollywood is laughable. And especially because your point is that he continues to be what he is.
But your movie is the Raz guy.
Samuel Perry as Brother Shaggy basically delivered a performance that was a continuation of every performance that he has ever given. Loud and
did it
unfunny.
Well.
It felt like his only direction was
the
to
Raz
be
guy when he's
Brother
illiterate is
Shaggy
basically
instead
just
of a fully fledged character,
All
Baba
he says is
Yaro.
puffery.
It's worthy to note that Brother Shaggy is a character that Samuel
and he doesn't know
Perry
colors anymore
created.
because he's the Raz
So
guy.
all we've basically been watching are the Chronicles of Brother Shaggy versus actually an actor. Yeah, and that's not a
at
good
least
thing.
He's doing it well,
That's not a
and
good
he's not
thing.
pretending to not be playing Lassie, which is what the Raz guy was.
No, he wasn't.
While the Raz guy
he wasn't.
did start out with
No,
some
he wasn't.
articulation.
No, he wasn't.
The moment he was made to play a quote-unquote Raz character,
it's a bit reductive.
he fell right
It's a bit
into
reductive to
Lassie,
reduce.
but even
It's a bit reductive to
worse
reduce
pronunciation.
All right,
worse
fugitives.
acting.
I think the first thing is I feel like Bob has she likes, mentioning people that are not memorable or things that nobody because I'm not going to lie, I didn't even remember that Brother Shaggy was in Day of Destiny, because anybody could have played that role. He didn't even play it properly.
I agree.
Like, that was one of
the worst.
I think his performance in in Dwindle was even better than his performance in Dwindle was better. Like, it was really bad.
Just to say, yeah,
it was really bad. Like, he was trying to, especially as the film was set in the early. Exactly. And like, he was supposed to be the soothsayer, or the one with the time machine, and like, he played it was supposed to be something so pivotal, like, to the story, and I don't see how he did anything there. Like, it wasn't very good.
All he did was scream and shout and make dry and funny jokes that didn't land.
At multiple points in the movie.
That didn't land. Also, I'm sorry, baby-faced assassin, Mr.
Sorry,
Macaroni
but to
in
be clear, is it
Anila.
Coffrey that landed? Or was it when he said his sister's shirt was red that landed? Like, which one of those the
So are
Raz
you
guy
saying
jokes are the ones that
that you
landed?
laughed at anything
None
that
of the jokes were
Brother Shaggy
funny.
said? If
None of them were funny. So why do
None
you
of
feel
them were
like the Raz
funny.
guy is
Honestly, none of them were
somebody at
funny.
the helm of
The one
comedy?
joke,
Like, it was
that Toyin
terrible.
Abraham like made in the
There were
taxi
4
scene was
comedians in that
funnier
movie,
than
and they were all
hold on,
mediocre. All of them
Mr.
combined
no.
put
Macaroni in
together.
Anila wasn't any
And
better.
they
I'm
One
sorry,
were.
I
joke,
feel like this
the
was the
one
performance
joke that Toyin
that
cracked in that
grounded
film
him as
was
a
better
test
than
subject.
anything that Brother
But
Shaggy said. All he does is
in
play
my
himself in
opinion,
every
Mr.
single
Macaroni and
film.
Ayinla delivered an okay performance. There was nothing groundbreakingly bad or good. I agree that Bayewu as a character was supposed to be instrumental in both the rise and demise of Ayinla, but at the end of it all, Bayewu felt like a footnote. Whether that is due to the writing and characterization of the character or Mr. Macaroni's execution, which is where I think failed, the character fell very flat.
I
Okay.
disagree. I
And you're
I
free to
disagree. I
disagree,
think
but it doesn't change
yes.
the fact that Bayewu felt
No.
very flat.
Bayewu
All
is
right.
a supporting character.
I want
You
to
are
hear what
talking that
Babyface
way
Assassin
because
said.
Lasisi's character and yours was the lead.
You can be
So
a
you're
supporting
the
character who steals the show. There are many supporting characters who we fell in love
see
with and
Bayewu's
loved him
Yours
character.
wasn't
even more than
lost
the
the show
lead, and he
though,
did not
so
do that, especially for someone who was the antagonist. I think it's a bit reductive to reduce him as a
and
supporting character. If you're
and
going to
it's
be the
quite funny.
All right,
It's
antagonist in
quite
someone's
funny
fugitives,
that you say
story,
it
fugitives,
because
then you
even
are also kind
it's
of a
quite
fugitives.
funny that you're talking about.
you're also
Yes,
kind
it's
of a
quite funny that
lead.
you're talking about like scene stealers in films because when people talk about Ras Guy, people remember Bucci Franklin's,
yep.
that scene with Bucci. Like that's what people remember. People remember Nancy and her accents. Like that's what if you want to talk about scene stealers in films and
Lasisi was the
everybody being
worst
one
part
note
of the
and
Raz
every
People
guy, and
also
he was the
remember
All
least.
right.
Lassisi's bemusement
like if he's supposed to be the
Okay, I think
main
I've heard enough.
person,
We've heard
even
enough. We've heard enough. We've heard enough. Let's get to closing arguments.
This fight to get physical.
Yeah.
And beat you. One more
I've had
minute.
enough. I've had enough. I think the audience still have had enough. All right. I think there's still going to be the closing argument. But I'm leaning one way certainly. All right. On Cab Fugitives, can you give us your closing arguments?
Unmute me, please.
Yeah.
My closing argument is this. Unlike the rest of my opponent's characters, my character went on a journey. My character showed range. He went from dramatic and stoic to comedic and flexible. Mr. Macaroni as Bayewu felt very one note and flat, and Samuel Perry as Babayaro, in fact, very forgetful name. I had to Google what character he played in Day of Destiny. That's how forgettable he was, because it was an extension of the character that he created already on Instagram, Brother Shaggy. So he wasn't doing any acting in this at all.
Okay, Babyface Assassin.
okay. So as far as comedic performances go and Instagram comedians performing in Nollywood films go, Brother Shaggy's performance in Day of Destiny is probably one of the worst. And it's very funny that someone would call that as being one of the best use of Instagram comedians. Then as for Lasisi in The Raz Guy, it's funny that it's the film is supposed to be about him and Fugitive is talking about, scene stealers and people being one note. When everybody in his film, a lot of people were acting rings around him, then surely if you cannot even be the lead in your own film and, be the most memorable character, I would prefer my supporting character that actually did well. And, it ended up being very good for his career. Thank you.
Ooh, okay, all right. Bob.
Like I said earlier, there is something to be said for doing what you know and doing it well, which would have worked out well for Lasisi if he had done that. He bites off way more than he can chew, and he falls flat, being the worst part of his own movie. Brother Shaggy adds comedic timing and relief and is pivotal to the movie. And that's it.
Ooh, okay, all right, okay, all right. All right.
So,
Closing argument has pushed me one way.
okay, I think I'm going, but like I think I enjoyed a few rebuttals. There were a few rebuttals here that I enjoyed. I think coming for Lassisi's second act, as not being a deviation from his character. His second act was Lassisi. I thought that was a good, and that babyface assassin coming for him not being the most memorable when he was the lead.
Yeah,
because unfortunately, my Bucci, I still say it's still a running joke in our house. I'm flabbergasted, and I don't even know what flabbergasted means.
Yeah.
So that was
that one stays.
fun. Yeah. And I want to give Bab extra points for creativity. Because like when Uncalf went and Babyface Assassin went, I'm thinking, okay, so the general consensus, right, is that Instagram comedians are best used when they don't do their thing at all. And then Biblically Accurate Barbie comes in with stick in your wheelhouse and do what you do best. I'm like, I seem to just give up on it.
Yeah, that was
that creativity. Like that was a creative angle to go with. To be honest, I rate it.
Yeah. You've all made good points. I did think that on Cal Fugitive's thing where I think she talks about Lassisi's initial really good dramatic performance, and doing well in the dramatic role and the comedic role. I would say though that Lassisi's role is always comedic. It's just he's playing it straight. He's playing it straight, and the script or the lines he's using he's letting the script do
the funny. But again, Uncalf did mention he wasn't left to improv. Right? It's like it seems like the character and the script were deliberate. Which, is not what we typically get with the IG comedians.
Yes. I mean, that's kudos to the writers, if I'm gonna be honest.
True, but the question is, what is the best use of an Instagram comedian? So the writers are
true. Hey, you're not part of this deliberation. Stay muted. All right. Okay.
So also, I want to say that I think Babyface Assassin did quite well with like the closing statements and pushing back on the other characters, but did not build enough on why Mr. Macaroni in Ayinla was good.
That's all I was looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Because if we added that and then had the pushback, absolutely fantastic. But I felt like a lot of it was building on one point, which is it was a different role from his usual thing, and I just got 1 point from it.
I got the impression Babyface Assassin has not refreshed her memory of Ayinla's of Mr. Macaroni's performance in Ayinla.
But make it up. You can make stuff as long as it doesn't raise enough flags that I need to fact check. Make it up.
All right, but yes, I just think people were not able to. I think they attacked Lassisi enough, but they did not. We didn't get anybody who both
attacked Lassisi and then built on their own.
Yeah, so we're going to have to give it to
Uncalf
Fugitives. Oh, all right. So it's 2-0. All right. There's still 2 more questions. So there's still plenty of time to get into it. Don't worry. Audience members, let us know who you think is going to run away with this, or who you think is winning, or who you think is doing well. We'll read comments out if you want to comment on anything.
Let us know if you think we need a judiciary, because...
All right. Which other place do you hear actually judges think about their decisions in real time? See, this is where we are.
First Nollywood debate show where the judges think about their decision in real time. Add a new laurel. Let's go.
All right. Okay. That question. Crime movies are popping now, but what is Nollywood's best crime film? And we are starting this time with Babyface Assassin. Babyface Assassin, what is Nollywood's best crime film?
Okay, so I believe that Nollywood's best crime film is Gangs of Lagos. So Gangs of Lagos, when it comes to even the influence of, a Nollywood film this year, it takes it's number one. It is a film that has quotable lines. If I say it's across the river. Like even the average person that doesn't watch a lot of Nollywood films, they know that okay, that is from Gangs of Lagos. It has a lot of, there was that scene with Choma Chukuka that had so many people reenacting it. It had so many people reenacting it, so many, performances from people that we hadn't seen before. We had Iyabo Ojo take on a different role. We had, Yemoli and so many people like wear, different, I'm sorry, perform a different, role than we know them, we know different from what we've always seen them as. We also, so that's the point one, is influence, and um bringing people out of their shells to perform different things than we've seen them. Then also when we come to the story, Lagos, especially in the times that we are in, it showed Lagos, for what it is, a den of, agberos, the agbero culture, the thuggery and everything, how, they use, the how sorry agbero culture, thuggery, and all of that. So it was a combination of, things that we see. Sorry, let me just, my thoughts
That's
properly.
okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So
This is just the beginning. You can still say more. Say
okay,
more.
fair enough.
And when we start doing the Nollyfight, please just allow. I allow people. You guys are allowed to interrupt, but do allow other people to speak when they're having their go. Okay. All right. Bob, please tell us
Hi.
your
I
favorite crime movie.
I think the best action movie is La Femme Angela.
Crime. Crime. Crime.
Crime, crime. It's all the same thing to me. So I think the best crime movie is La Femme Angela. So La Femme Angela introduces us into this world in a way that is very slow and sultry. The character development start out right off the bat, and from act to act, you can see how the relationships both evolve and devolve into the mess that we end up with. The underlying tension in the movie is heavy from scene to scene, both sexual and criminal, and the crime is interwoven into the movie the entire way. When Richard Dominic's character meets and starts a conversation with the male character, the crime has already begun, and we see the crime unfold throughout the whole movie with increasing craziness, and the use there of violence is very quick and masterful because it focuses the crime and the story doesn't get lost. Everyone in this movie is very complex even as they're doing dumb and criminal things. The women in this movie, and this were my personal favorite, is that the women in this movie, unlike in every other Nigerian action movie, the women in this movie are not used as plot points, but they all have actual agency the entire movie. Every single one of them, no matter how minor their role is. And we see all of their decisions and voices sort of matter in this movie and in this world as much as the men does. And then it has one of my favorite lines from a villain where it's Rita at the end when she says, "What is it about me that makes guys think I need saving? Why have you come to save poor, weak Angela Titilayo?" And to me, that's just a true criminal like sentence there. No remorse. And I appreciate a good criminal that is not doing crime because I was born into it and I'm so sorry.
Oh, all
Oh,
right.
let's go. Okay.
Okay.
All
All right.
right.
And then Uncle Fugitives, please go
Thank
on.
you. My answer to the question, what is the best crime film, is Jade Oshiberu's The Trade. This film had some of the better writing than the three recent Jade Oshiberu crime dramas. The story in this was very tidy. The characters were very clearly defined, especially Blossom Chukwujeku as Eric. It was made very clear to us from the very beginning that Eric was the bad guy. But this film also explained his process while simultaneously showing us that the police were after him and showing us how he kept the ones that were close to him in the dark. The difference between the wealthy trader versus the humble guy who didn't have anything, um, It also set up the chinks in his armor and what eventually led to his downfall. It showed us where his betrayals came from. Nothing came as a surprise in this film. The lapses in judgment that he had, which led to his downfall, were also very well set up. This film also had fantastic production value without having spectacle. It didn't need things blowing up to give crime, even though there was a car flip. But the ramshackle abandoned building where Eric kept his kidnapped victims felt very much like a Nigerian kidnapper's lair. Not that I would know anything about that. It was also very visually interesting without spectacle. And that's to be commended because Nollywood crime films, especially in recent times, seem to use pizzazz and plenty woo 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 to detract from the bad writing and plot holes. The cinematography in this looked very good as well, especially for a film made in 2018. The trade had Chiwetel Ejiofor, and that's a point because in this film, Chiwetel Ejiofor gives us a masterclass in acting. This film also had Yemi Sholade give a fantastic performance. The acting in this was very good across board, and that's why this film is Nollywood's best crime film.
All right.
Thanks on Cap.
Everyone, all right. Nollyfighters, go at it.
I hate going first because I feel like the villain, but Gang of Lagos isn't even Jade Oshibaru's best crime film. Talk more of the best crime film in general. Most of the motivations for the characters in gangs don't even make
you.
sense with the characters. As they progress, they go further and further away from how they were initially set up. Obalola was set up as a child to be this intelligent child who knew who he wanted to be. But by the time we progress to him being an adult, we see him as a follower who doesn't question any of the things that Kazim does until when he loses Pana. This film was melodramatic in many places, even especially in that scene with Choma Akota. While she gave a beautiful performance, it was melodramatic. This film chose to use drama and spectacle as a plot device instead of just telling a good story. The main character in this was incredibly passive. Things were just happening to Obalola versus him doing things. And even when he did something, it wasn't sensible. this this film was just full of unnecessary scenes instead of developing the story. The controversies, in my opinion, were very offensive. It literally has the worst action scene. The Ayo masquerades walk into a party, and instead of shooting at the conveniently placed table where all the villains in the film sat, they didn't shoot there. They shot at the poor musician on the stage. Please, just so we could get a rooftop fight scene. The rooftop fight scene that was one car itself, and that fall from the roof. Kazim didn't even make a dent when he hit the car. Kazim fell vertically and landed horizontally. Haba! Haba! And even you mentioned in the first round that this film had the most redundant narration and voiceover.
And I think it's funny too for the trade that you say that this is some of the best writing because it's such a low bar when Gangs of Lagos is one of is one of the things that comes before it. Others were horrendous. And so you start out with such a low bar for your movie that I find that so comical. And the absurdity of the writing just continues into the rest of the movie. Let's even forget the
What
accent, because
about
the
the
whole
writing
thing,
was absurd? You can't
the
make a point without
mismatched
backing it
accent
up.
between the siblings,
You
the
hold on.
exaggerated
What about
accent
the
that this guy has,
accent and
while
writing
his
are two different
sister
points? What
has a
about the
completely
writing?
different thing
What
going on
about the
there.
writing is
The
bad? You still
comical
haven't given me a
computer
reason.
room. Every single woman in this movie does not need to exist. If you remove every single woman in this movie, they play very little
I
and have
think it's
very
a
little
little
name. All
laughable that
but
you think that
devices.
Lafemme Manjola is
The
a
only
crime
female
film.
detective on the
I
team
don't
was
think
left
we
to
can
watch a dead
I
classify
was
body
going
and
to
watch
Lafemme
point
the
Manjola
on
as a
that.
movie.
crime film.
I think
And then
Bob,
no crimes were
the
actually
first thing is that you don't even know the difference
Okay,
between
okay.
prosecuted.
action and
Wait.
crime film.
exactly. In
Everybody's talking at the
fact,
In
same
the
time. I want
trade,
to.
Like
I
you
want
no
don't
to
even know the
crimes
hear.
difference
were
between action
actually
and crime
I want
film.
to
That's
hear
the first
Bab.
please,
thing.
can I just
I
make
want
my
to hear
point
Bab.
okay.
land? When you Google
In
this
the
film, when
trade,
you
no
Wait,
Google
crimes were
wait.
Lafemme
Yeah,
actually
we've
Manjola,
heard you.
successfully committed by the actual villain
when
in the
you
movie,
Google
except
Lafemme
the
Like
Manjola,
murder
I
of
don't
an
think
old
I feel
my
like you
man.
need
fact
to prove
checker,
to us that
please,
Lafe
when you
Manjola is
Google
actually a
Oh
crime
Lafemme
my
film.
Manjola, it
god!
doesn't.
You see,
Okay. All right. We need to let. We need to let Bab speak. We'll let a couple of you guys go. I can't remember the name. Sorry. All right. Biblically accurate Bobby. Please go ahead. Sorry, try and mute yourself.
Okay, no, good now. Anyways, like I was saying, the entire movie, the trade, starting from the writing, is comical. Um, the siblings are so unevenly matched. Their relationship doesn't even make sense because of their accents. Every woman in this movie is a plot device to drive this villain story forward. And no crimes. He actually didn't even successfully commit any crime except the murder of one old man with his dick out. Oh, I guess, and then he shot the police officer when he came to get him out of the car. But he's such a dull criminal that it doesn't even occur to him to drive to a different state and then fly from there. Like he's trying to fly from Lagos after he just shot a police officer. And then he goes to say goodbye to his girlfriend. It's just such low vibrational criminal
But my
thinking the
character wasn't
entire
even a
time in this
killer. My
movie.
character was a
And then
kidnapper, so
Gangs
he
of
doesn't have to
Lagos
kill
uses
anybody.
gore and
La
terrible
Femme Angela is not a
fighting to
crime
cover
film.
up
Like
Thank you.
there's
When you
no,
Google
blackberry
La
like
Femme
you need to
love
prove
Angela,
dance
to us
for
that it's a
acting.
crime film.
when you
Like
Google
you
La
didn't
Femme
even
Okay,
know the
Angela,
difference
please.
between
it
action and
classifies it.
crime
It
film.
You
You
keep
classifies
not
it.
see
saying
It
it
somebody
after
classifies
the
it
does.
as a
crisis thing, and it's
Wait,
so
so
psychological.
old.
is it because
So
she
it's
does
not
something bad?
crime
It's a
It's
crime
film.
actually
film. If
so
somebody should steal
old.
something, is that suddenly a crime
Thank
film?
you.
Like is
When you
All
Google
right.
La
Gangs
Femme
of
just because
Angela, La
someone
Lagos
Femme
does
Okay.
Angela
something
follows
is
the
bad,
plot.
classified as a
or
Guess what it
it's
psychological
not a
is.
thriller.
crime
Okay.
film.
And the film was
I want to hear Babyface Assassin. Babyface Assassin, please.
Okay. So the first thing is that La Femme Angela is not a crime film. I don't even think it should be included in this debate because it's like you are not answering the question. That's the first thing. Like it's not a crime film. Just because someone is sort of like a bad person, it's a film noir that has femme fatale type of thing. It's not a crime film. Like, and it's
Were
very
crimes
funny that
committed? Yes. Okay.
if in a film somebody should steal something, does that mean it's a crime film? It's a crime, but that
The
doesn't make it a
central
crime
movie
film.
point of the movie is
All right.
literally
It
the
does not make it a
but
419.
crime
this
film.
is just my point
Okay.
about La
All right.
Femme
Let's do
Angela.
closing
Maybe
arguments.
maybe
Closing.
like
Closing
you, it's an
arguments,
action
please,
Close.
for
film.
closing
Since you think
arguments.
that
It's
they
a
are the same
crime.
thing,
I just
since they
want
are
to
the
make
same,
it
maybe it's
You
an
know what
clear.
a
Who's
action
crime
film and
starting?
not
Is
a
it
crime film.
Babyface?
So
Babyface
when
as for
things
the
blow
Assassin.
up
trade,
in a
so
comic.
All right.
You people need
Okay.
to stop letting Badamasi come out.
All right. We have to do closing
I'm
arguments. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Babyface
Babyface Assassin.
Assassin.
Please. Unmute yourself and give us your closing arguments.
Okay. So why I believe that Gangs of Lagos is the best crime film that we've had. I believe first of all, it's what the people are calling spectacle or it's crowd service. The people love it. And the first, the audience are the kings and queens of films. And they not complain. Yeah, the only person complaining and calling it spectacle. The people love it. And to say that the performances were bad, no, like there was not a single bad performance in Gangs of Lagos. Like I don't believe there was a single bad performance in Gangs of Lagos. And like what I said, it even transcended like the average Nollywood, viewer fan base. Everyone was talking about it. That's just to show that like the influence. I don't think there is a crime film in Nollywood right now that has as much influence as Gangs of Lagos. It was so influential that it got people angry. That's how much it was talked about and watched. Nobody knows the trade, yo. Like how many people when the thing was nominated for AMV, how many nobody knows the trade. If you hear the trade, like, and also the accents in the trade, it was so bad. And you were coming for the performances in Gangs of Lagos. My should I remind you about Waje's performance in the trade? Because I don't know what was going on there. It was very bad. Like even people that you would believe could like that normally have great performances, they did not act well. Then the end were so rushed. It was like they were like, please, oh, there's no money again. Let's just finish this film fast, fast. And from here to here, they've already cut him. They've done this. They've done. It was very rushed. It was so rushed. The third act was not well done. It wasn't finished properly. And if that is the best crime film in Nigeria, then we have problem. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Babyface Assassin is coming clutch with his closers. All right. Bab, please give us your closer.
My co-debaters are spending so much time talking about La Femme Angela not being an action movie because they only recognize crime or action if something blows up or spins over. And they're so focused on me not knowing, like saying crime versus action. Oh, big whoop. What no one talks about, though, in my movie is no one is coming for the story. No one is coming for the essence of the movie. Their arguments are weak as hell. And the reason for that is because they pick terrible movies. Gangs of Lagos uses gore and terrible, terrible fighting to cover up a lack of story, substance, of acting. And in the words of Babyface Fighting, the narrative is droll. They take leaps that are driven towards an end for Obalala that doesn't even make sense, given his character development or lack of it the entire movie. The story dissolves so much it forgets what it started as at. It's literally the worst crime movie here on the list. The trade comes very slightly above it, but only very slightly. The crimes are weakly committed, and even the gore in this one too is also quite exaggerated. We see the blood spurting out of Chiwetel when he's stabbed, and it's just also badly done. The mismatched accents, the way women are used in this movie to service men, it's all terrible. And it's being some of Jade's best writing is honestly an insult to the movie itself because Jade writes not great movies, especially in the action category. So
Okay, all right. Bab's done her damage. All right, let's go to the uncouth fugitive trial. Yes,
Tales
sorry.
of uncouth fugitives. Get it right.
The Trade is the best Nollywood crime film because the story made sense. The characters were tidy and very clearly defined. We knew who was the bad guy. We knew who the good guys were. We understood his process. We understood the chink in his armors and why he ended up where he ended up. It had production value. Everything looked like it fit in that world. There were really good acting, especially from the leads. And we had a few surprise good actors as well. I find it laughable that someone classifies La Femme Angela as a crime film when this film is tagged a psychological thriller by the makers of the film. This film did less with Angela's supposed crime, but more to the psychological effect that her manipulations had on the men that she targeted. This film even felt more romantic at times than a crime film, so it is a moot point even considering it in this category. Gangs of Lagos is the worst crime film in under Jade Oshiboru's belt. This film doesn't do anything with the characters. It progresses further and further away from how they were initially set up. This was some of the worst acting by Toby Bakre since his acting began. The fight scenes were very poorly choreographed. The editing and VFX were a bit and a lot of this film just felt very unearned. And for you to say that this film didn't have any bad performances, I just have one name for you, Adeswai Tommy Wellington. And then when you couple that performance with Toby Bakre's drawl and redundant voiceover, you get the worst crime film in Nollywood.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Our fact checker, do you have tea for us first?
Yeah, I just there's I have to say, although quite a nice line about it being his worst performance. We saw a beautiful, beautiful film with Toby Bakare and Nadia Buhari.
Was it Nadia or was it is Yvonne Nelson?
Yvonne Nelson, and yeah, so
so yes.
Sorry, we can't give that title to Gangs of Lagos.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any more fact checks? Are there any more fact checks? Or do you want to start talking about where we're lying in terms of the debate?
No, just to let biblically accurate Barbie know that she got lost somewhere along the way. And
it seems like she was describing brotherhood. Yeah.
And she decided to give Jade a 2-for-1 special.
I was wondering where the brothers came in. I was like, what's going on with brothers?
There was a 2-for-1 special somewhere.
All right. Okay. So first off, I think right off the bat, I think it's worth saying. Yeah, I allowed La Femme Angela as a crime film. It counts as a crime film.
I appreciate the efforts of Uncouth and Babyface Assassin.
Yes, and I do think that I'm not just saying it as a it counts. I think also Bab from the get-go said the crime is interwoven throughout the film, and I think whether she thought ahead of it or of this, so like she also has that rebuttal in there, which I agree with. So yeah, I felt like actually almost I think everybody set up their movies decently well. I thought what caught me was but by when Bob quoted Angela's,
what is it about me that makes me think I need saving?
Hey, yeah, that got me. That was nice. And I think actually the most successfully attacked movie, maybe Gangs of Lagos might have been first, maybe.
Yeah, so here's the thing, and sorry. So when you asked the questions and Babyface Assassin said Gangs of Lagos, I laughed because I remember the Babyface Assassin has dragged Gangs of Lagos already tonight, and I was like, is somebody going to use it?
Yes,
and somebody did.
Yes.
It's unfortunate. The trade, I think Uncalf did a good job of setting up the trade, talking about the character and its establishment and development.
Yes.
However,
I think the accents drag
the accents, the rushed ending.
Yeah.
I think Babyface Assassin does very good rebuttals. And the setting for Gangs of Lagos, the points Babyface Assassin raised for Gangs of Lagos, it did have an impact, and like all of us will be here talking, spectacle this one, but last the audience did love it, and I think that's a good point. The majority of the audience did love it, so why wouldn't it count as the best crime film? Oh yeah, no, I did have a fact check. Who said? Oh, I had a fact check for Babyface Assassin on Gangs of Lagos being like, the most impactful, the biggest crime film in Nigeria. And sorry,
well, if you don't remember,
King of Boys is their daddy. Sorry, their mommy. King of Boys is their mommy. In the inspiration of them all. So that's a fact check.
Okay. I actually think one of the things that was done relatively well as well is by Babyface Assassin was the I'd like the scene, the Choma Akwafe inspired monologues. I thought that was a very strong point. So I think all the movies were served well. I do think two films were attacked rather successfully, and nobody really had anything for La Femme Angela except it wasn't really a crime film, which it was.
A crime film.
I mean, like, yeah.
And so and I think I don't think we've expanded properly on like why, because I think biblically accurate Barbie did a really good job of setting up La Femme Angela, right? Talking about the character development starting right off the bat, how the relationships evolved. We did see that underlying tension throughout the film.
She said there's something both in the crime and the sex.
Exactly. And there is both sexual tension. There's your tension on what's going to happen, what's going on, because something's happening, but you're not quite sure what. Mentioning the women being women being pivotal characters and not just plot points or plot devices, I thought was great. And when she was raising that point, like none of the other films, because again, I decided to leave this answer as a surprise for myself. I was like, as long as the next person is not mentioning King of Boys, this answer works. If the next person mentions King of Boys, then the point doesn't work. But so that was a good point. And I thought that an intentional criminal. She likes a criminal that stands on her shit. I thought was good.
So I think we're giving this one to
biblically accurate Barbie.
All right. So it's 2-1-0. Okay. Here's Babyface Assassin. Here's your
chance.
Here's your chance to tie and go to a decider. All right. Okay. This is the one. This is the violent question. All right. So Netflix has dropped, I think, by my count, 16 Nollywood Netflix originals. Which one is the worst? And we're back with Bob. Bob, what's the worst Netflix original?
The worst Netflix original that has ever been made is Chief Daddy 2. And the reason why this takes a cake for multiple reasons. Number one, there is no story. Number two, there's no substance. All we have is Dubai. it undoes the already terrible little work Chief Daddy One did in setting up the characters, and it honestly just deviates entirely from everything that was set up in Chief Daddy One, and you don't even realize that only less than a year has passed. I don't think it's been even that long, if I remember correctly, but because I wasn't going to go back and watch this. I'm sorry, that's how bad it is. But the very first point for Chief Daddy though is that it starts off the back of an already terrible movie. So Chief Daddy 1 as a movie was like taking a basket and pouring water into it. And then Chief Daddy 2 is trying to scoop water out of the basket. But there's nothing there. And so it compounds on this already terrible existence. And it includes pointless trips to Dubai and a conclusion that fails in heart, comedy, and execution. And then also somehow manages to undo all of the barely any their work that was done in character developments and story wise from the previous movie. It tries to split the most pointless script amongst too many powerhouses, and it just fails on multiple levels. Every single actor in this movie is doing terribly, and they are some of the best actors in Nigeria in this movie. Patience is there, and she's doing terribly because she has nothing to work with. That's how little there is in this movie. There is nothing.
All right. Okay. The closer out. Okay. Uncount Fugitive, please.
The worst Netflix original TV film or TV series is Netflix's first young adult Nollywood series, Far From Home. To quote myself from our Nollywood Film Club, Far From Home is by no means, and I mean by not any stretch of the imagination, a young adult series. The writing and directing is where the show fails, and that is most of it. And before I forget, a large chunk of the acting in this wasn't great either, especially because the tiny bit of good acting in this film came from the side characters who were on screen a cumulative 10 minutes. This show falls into the trap of telling and not showing, telling us that we were supposed to believe that this main character had a dream and would have done anything to get that dream. And even though the first episode shows us that the dream that he cared about wasn't his, but his sister's. This show also tells us that Carmen had an opioid addiction, which then all of a sudden moved to a Molly addiction. And then everyone conveniently forgets that she has an addiction in the first place until the last episode. This show was so confused about what it wanted to be, shifting from what was supposed to be a young adult slash teenage led story to an explorations into the workings of an underworld slash criminal organization. A poorly run one at that. The main character was severely unlikable, and most of the other characters were one-dimensional and unfinished, with zero progression or growth. We meet Ishai as selfish, and we leave him selfish. And when the show is not leaving the characters stagnant, the show employs quantum leaps, with Adufe progressing from a hurt girlfriend in the twinkle of an eye to Rambo's best babe in the inner caucus of a drug ring, to overthrowing Ijoba as number 2 and then taking over the entire organization in 3 months. Like Shekpe, she has the time Infinity Stone. This show used Afrobeats as a torture device, turning bops into flops. How do how do you follow a character saying, take a picture, it will last longer, with Fabe's baby rhythm singing the exact line? Or is it when they play Olamide's science students as the science students of Wilma Academy are playing in the lab? And then there's an explosion. In the words of P Square, habatically. Quick question that I don't think was answered in this series. What was Wilma Academy? Again, this show had an identity crisis. This show and its creators, like much of Nigerian adults, view the issues of teenagers and young people as inconsequential or pedestrian. So they felt that interposing this show with a power tussle in the criminal underground was the way to go. It was a collection of missed opportunities while believing that it was still great, and that is what makes this very offensive. Episode 5 of this show felt like flashpoints. Mewan Shele, 10 was happening. Guns and tasers in at the school. Frankincense was kidnapped. Rambo all of a sudden was in Angeli's cage. I don't know how we lost the hyena. Carmen goes to rehab all of a sudden because her parents all of a sudden remembered that she had a drug addiction. Shine Roseman was on the screen. Episode 5 was a clear representation of the entirety of this series, a hodgepodge mess.
Okay.
Ah,
All right.
okay.
All right.
This one felt a little personal on Carl, I won't lie.
All right. Babyface Assassin, please tell us what your worst Nollywood Netflix original is.
Okay, so the worst Nollywood Netflix original is Glamour Girls. Glamour Girls 2022. So you will not be mistaken. Glamour Girls 2022. It was a very hot mess. It is bad enough that it took a beloved 90s classic, the Liz Benson Eukarya film, and they decided to make a remake, sequel, even sequel, I say sequel, remake or sequel, even they don't even know the difference. Like, we still have the argument if it's a remake, if it's a sequel, we don't know. Question mark there. There were so many redundant characters. There was no semblance of a story. They tried to make Sharon Oja's character have motivation, but it failed. Who remembers Shegilola's character? What happened to her? What was her use? Like, I don't. If you're just scrolling through IMDb and you see that in her film credits, you even be wondering, oh, so she was even in this film. That's how bad that film was. So many things were so bad. The jokes never landed. Temisan played the character he plays in most films, and it was very bad. There was that scene in the yacht that, what was it for? The one with Gloria Young and some people. I don't. Were they alluding to the old Glamour Girls? What were they trying to do? They tried to then if you make someone like Nse have a bad performance, like, I don't even know if I should blame the directing, or she was speaking with some weird accent that was so bad. She was trying to be like the madam of the escorts company or something like that. There was no semblance of a story. They tried to tell us that, oh, she was trying to go into this life to help her siblings. They showed us the siblings like once. Like, they showed us the siblings once. It was just very bad. Like, there was just nothing. You watch that film and you are left confused. Like, what were they trying to do? Then let me not even start talking about was it Jocelyn Dumas's story arc. What was that all about? They just wanted like the whole love story with what is it, links, or it was ridiculous. Then there was that scene with it was with, I've forgotten his name, James Gardner's character, trying to, he was
Oh, have we lost?
the whole
Have
Flash.
we lost?
It was a
Okay.
comedy of errors. The whole like, what was the story? What was actually the story? Then it even got francophone speaking African countries offended because this French, they were saying bonjour les merci or whatever they were saying in that film. Like hello, sorry.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah. Okay. So like the French was also bad. It was of countries. They had to complain about it. It was very offensive. They were just calling money 10,000 million. There was no semblance of a story. And in any film, story is king. And that's what Glamour Girls did not have. They just wanted to show us glamour and lifestyle, and the glamour and lifestyle was not even given. Like, I just feel like that film should not have been made. It should have been it should have never been made. I cannot believe that people actually read that script and decided and agreed to be in that film. So I believe it is in fact, that film was the film that made, if you had a good review of that film, people would think you were paid. That's how bad it was. That's how bad it is. And at least other okay, I'll save that for my pushback. But there was nothing good about Glamour Girls. And yeah, there was nothing good about Glamour Girls.
All right.
All right. Sorry, I just want to say to all the fighters, I want to thank you for such an entertaining round, because all my notes have laughing emojis for every single film.
All right. Go on, please. Go ahead and Nollyfight.
Despite biblically accurate Barbie's attempt at portraying Chief Daddy 2 as the worst Netflix original, I think that's overstating its badness, especially because when placed in the order of Chief Daddies, it is the better of the two.
And you say this without laughing. Got your point.
No,
That's
I
what I
was
thought.
laughing at Mr. C laughing. Yes, when placed in the order of Chief Daddies, it is the better of the two. It wasn't as tonally confused as the
Still
first
laughing.
movie, not knowing when it was supposed to be sad or when it was supposed to be happy. At least Chief Daddy had a plot line and stories. Let me tell you those plot lines. I disagree with you. And what's that his name? Faust the bad guy. Kilo Ruka Bobo yen. He was chasing his music career while trying to be responsible for the family business. Storyline. He also had them trying to save their family from losing their inheritance. Plus, it wasn't shot in a room and parlor like Chief Daddy 1 was. We had location. I don't care what you say about Dubai. They had London, they had Dubai, they had different country. Also, I think the cinematography in Chief Daddy 2 was a lot better than the one in Chief Daddy 1. The lighting was definitely a lot better than in Chief Daddy 1. So I don't think it is the worst Netflix original. Also, Glamour Girls is not as bad as Far From Home, because at least it was sexy. Um, say what you want about Lynx and Jocelyn Dumas, but the two of them in a sex scene, haba, hot, hot, hot. Also, it was a great reunion from Lynx's music video in 2000s, which gave us a nostalgic feel. Also, Nse was a good madam who had no illusions as to the fact that she did sex work. Also, what is a Nollywood film without money? I quite find it quite offensive that you think your film didn't have glamour. He had a yacht and a speedboat and many, many beautiful houses. Unlike Far From Home, which had the students in cheap clothes and plastic shiny gold crowns. These people couldn't even go to Lagos market to buy tiara for their Founders Day ball of their queen. And yet they were claiming that this film had rich kids. My film didn't even have small money.
Okay.
My series didn't have small money. You people are underestimating the badness, overstating the badness of Glamour Girls and the Chief Daddy. My film was worse. My series, in fact, that's my next point. Far From Home is especially worse than both Chief Daddy 2 and Glamour Girls combined, because there is just more, just by sheer volume. 1 hour episode. It is prolonged suffering. At least your own two films ended. My series didn't end. It didn't end. No pushback, guys.
There's pushback, oh, hey.
Sorry.
There's very much pushback.
Okay.
So okay.
No, you can go.
So starting with Far From Home. First of all, Far From Home actually had a semblance of story. It even had certain good performances. Like Moshud's performance was really good. Like that was a very good performance. Um what's her name?
Moshood was on screen for
Tommy
30
Ojo's
seconds.
performance.
Please. Moshood did not even last on
You
screen
were the
for
one
1 minute.
talking.
Allow,
I thought you said supporting characters can
allow the
steal the
babyface
show.
assassin. Go on, babyface assassin.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Moshood acted very well. There were good performances, and the production design was quite good.
Eh?
I don't believe that
Eh?
it was. Yes, production design was quite good. Yes, it
Is it
was.
the
It
god? Is it
was
the
the
golden
production
pepper
design.
crown? Is it the golden pepper
The
crown?
production design.
What did they design?
Is
Is it the Isayaleko house that
the
didn't?
school looked nice? What
I
do you
beg.
mean? The school looked nice. It seemed like a school environment.
Because
It
it
seemed
was
like a
a
school
school. It
environment.
was
You
Lagos
can't say
Business
the
School.
same.
They didn't
You
design anything.
can't say the same
They
for
didn't
Glamour
design anything. They
Girls.
just went to
Glamour
Lagos
Girls, they
Business
wanted to
School.
use uncompleted building. I don't
They
even
just
like
went to Lagos
old
Business School.
Nollywood did that
Production design
uncompleted building
people.
show better.
Is it Isayaleko house that looked like a brand new house? That's the house that production design. The house that they were claiming that, oh, they are poor,
If
they
that's
don't have money. Yet
if that's brownie to you, I
the
don't even know
face
what to
in the
say
house
again.
was
Oh.
still
But
fresh.
it
Oh.
also had the semblance of a story, and you are talking about chemistry, but there was also chemistry and everything in Far From Home too. Now people were even doing
Who
fan
had
cams and
chemistry?
shipping people.
The people that were doing fanship were the people that made the film. It's not the people that watched it. It's not the people that watched the film.
That's not
It's
true.
true.
That's
It's
not
true.
true.
Because
People were shipping people together. What do you
fact
mean?
checker,
People were
please fact
Far
checker. The
From
people
Home,
that were shipping were the people that made
Far
the
From
film. Oh.
Home, Far From Home
Fact check.
had people.
The people that were
People.
shipping characters were the
Far
people
from
that
and
made the
one thing
film.
Far From Home did, it showed us new faces. It showed us new
New
faces.
faces that could do
Like
act.
they
Please.
showed us new
New
faces. So
faces
many
that could
people
do
learned.
act.
about actors in the industry. I can't really say the same for Glamour Girls. I would like Glamour mention Glamour Girls,
Anyway,
then as for Chief Daddy 2, I'm sorry, but like Chief Daddy 1 was already bad. So Chief Daddy 2 being bad, our expectations were
It's a
already
lie. Chief
low.
Daddy 2 was
So
an
I don't
went
improvement.
lower.
Chief
So
Daddy
we're
2
on the
was an
same page.
improvement.
the expectations were already low.
Chief Daddy 2
Not
had a
then
clearly
considering the
defined
fact that
villain.
Glamour Girls, the
I don't know
original
if
way,
you're
the
arguing
original
for me or
Glamour Girls
against.
is a classic.
Rahama Sadal was a very
the
clearly defined
the
villain.
original Glamour Girls is a classic, and this one just ruined it for a lot of people. It is a Nigerian classic, and this one made this is people's
People ever
first
ruined
introduction
classic
to
though.
Glamour
It's a
Girls.
lie.
Go back and
Glamour
watch it.
Girls did what it
Still
was supposed to
classic.
do. It had
It's
girls.
still going to be its own.
What did they do? What were they supposed to do? Was the aim for us to not believe in Nollywood anymore? Because if that was the aim, then they did it very well.
Guys,
Girls are
but
girls.
anyways,
All right. If Bob has nothing to say,
I do have something to
good.
say
All
because
right.
I
Let's
have
get to closing
pushback. I
argument.
just don't have the strength to argue over them when the signs are very clear. Far From Home is far from the most terrible thing on this list. And yes, I will pause for applause. As admitted by Uncouth herself, a large chunk of the acting is bad, but not all. There are at least good side characters. Also, a direct quote from Uncouth, and she's able to
I
tell
need
that
you
there's
people
an
to put this in
exploration into
context.
the
10 minutes
underworld,
out of
and you
5 hours.
can
What
tell
is
in
that
which
ratio?
two
Who knows how
ways
to
the
do math?
stories were
Who knows how to
going.
do math? 10
However,
minutes
even
out
the
of five
exploration of the
hours.
underworld,
Hours.
oh my god, even the exploration of the underworld is woven into the story from the beginning, so it's not a surprise because they're already working for the bad guy right from the start. Um, and the characters, you remember some of them, they stick out. You remember Angel.
Who
They
told you
do
I don't
have an
remember
attempt
Fouls?
to do character
I
development
remember
because at
Fouls.
the very
I
least, the
remember
addiction
Fouls.
is remembered at the
I
end.
remember
They
our
wove it
footballer.
into the
I
story in the
remember the
beginning,
footballer
and they
guy.
remember to tie it off with a bow at the end. Glamour Girls is bad. And yes, it is what happens when someone has too much money and a list of actresses they want to see in the same movie. But what saves Glamour Girl is that it has both an exciting cult classic as a parent and a beloved 90s classic. It has an ocean of storylines to choose from, even though they don't really take much of it and choose to go in their own direction. The cast has a smaller amount of powerhouses, with only Insay being one of the main ones and the other two or three who I would consider powerhouses being more or less supporting characters. Everybody else in this movie is a B-rate actor, and they're acting very
I find
B-rate.
it offensive that you
Chief
think Chief Daddy
Daddy,
is not memorable.
on the other hand, while Glamour Girl starts off the back of the classic and that gives it some credence, Chief Daddy has none of that. It's a pointless
Chief Daddy
script.
gave us a hit
Chief
song.
Daddy 1 is
And
bad.
Chief Daddy
Chief
2
Daddy
gave
2
us a
is
second
worse.
hit song.
And
Do you think it's easy
to
to
top
make
it
music?
off, Far From Home is rated 6/10 over IMDb and has a 79% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Those were
Do you know
voted
what
by the
doesn't
people
have
that
that
made the film.
score? Neither of these other movies. Chief Daddy 2 is rated 3.3.
I would just
3.3.
like
Like,
to say
it's
that tensions
universally
were high.
agreed that Chief Daddy 2
Tensions
is
were
one of
high
the
when
worst
Chief Daddy
movies
2 was released.
ever made. Not
It was
just in
New Year's
Nollywood,
Day. That's
but
why.
honestly, I would
That's
Hollywood. I would.
All right. Okay. All right. I have muted everyone. But thanks. This got certainly got feisty. Let's go into the closing arguments. All right. Bob, please give us your closing argument. Bob, you can give us your closing argument.
So is it me?
Bob. Is
Oh.
Bob now? Bob, are you there? All right. Bob's not there. Let's go to
I'm here. Sorry, my thing was just refusing to unmute. Anyways, closing argument wise, it is universally agreed that Chief Daddy 2 is one of the worst movies that have ever existed. If you search Chief Daddy 2 even on Twitter right now, I highly doubt that you will find a mix of good and bad comments like Far From Home had. Far From Home had received a warm reception, albeit turning out a little more lukewarm. But there's never been a point where most people will agree that it's the worst thing on that Netflix has done. When Netflix has done both Glamour Girls and Chief Daddies, come on. But Glamour Girls does have a good story to back itself on. It just chooses to go in a different direction. However, it's savable. There's some good fashion in the movie. The characters in the movie are mostly B-rate and acting as B-rate as they're expected. However, Chief Daddy 2 is packed with powerhouses and they are all forced to deliver terrible, which is a crime in itself. The story is nonsensical, the characters are nonsensical, the acting is nonsensical, even from veteran actors. And overall, the whole Chief Daddy series is a affront on all of our senses. And I hope it stops at two.
All right. Thanks, Bob. Please, on Cow Fugitives, please give us your closing arguments.
I would just like to point out that my film is the worst, my series is the worst thing to ever happen to Netflix, just based on the sheer volume. 5 1 hour episodes, 5 hours of prolonged suffering versus a 2-ish hour film each that you could close and go. I also think it's a bit laughable that you would complain that your film had glamour. Your film had glamour and it had girls, which was very much the title of the film. My character was not far from home. In fact, Ishaya felt right at home. You think Chief Daddy didn't have a plot or a story? That's a lie. He had a story. In fact, it was building off of where it left off. He had a clearly defined villain in Rahama Saudal. He had the family fighting against that villain. And he had a conclusion with a resolution that family is war is all that matters. What more do you want from a film? He had locations, he had great cinematography, he had a great song, he had Fauzi's British accent. He had comedy. He had comedy that was funny. Glamour Girls had glamour. It had sex. It had yachts. It had cars. It had money. It had hot men. It had beautiful women. What again do you want from a film called Glamour Girls? My series had an identity crisis. It literally didn't know what it was supposed to be. It went from being something that was supposed to be a young adult and teenage-led show to being about guns and tasers and drug addiction and a criminal underworld. At least your films knew what they were meant to be and were those. My series didn't know what it was supposed to be and ran away completely from what it was supposed to be. And talks of shipping is quite a lie, because the people that were shipping the ship was the people that made the film. In fact, they were trying to inundate us with shipping names that didn't make sense. The whole thing just didn't make sense. The film looked cheap. For a film that was about a school with wealthy people, Far From Home was cheap and very badly made. And I suffered for 5 hours.
All right. Thank you. On Cow.
Babyface assassin.
Okay. So I believe Glamour Girls is the worst Netflix original film. I don't think I've ever seen a situation where somebody gives a bad review of a film and people say, I mean, a good review of a Nigerian film, and people, like, the consensus is that the person was paid to give a good review. That was Glamour Girls. Like, people believed it was so bad. The general consensus was that it was so bad that if you liked it, you had to have been paid off. Like, people had to be paying you money for you to like it. That is how bad Glamour Girls was. It was so, they had so many redundant characters. Temison, Shegilola Ogidon's character, just so, even James Gardner's character was quite redundant, if we're being real. The four women who were, supposed to be the glamour girls, what was the essence? There was no need for any of it. The story was so bad. They tried to paint, and Sharon Oja's performance was also quite bad. I guess she was trying to do something different from the usual, but she adopted one whiny voice approach and all this complaining approach that it was bad. I'm going to blame that on the directing. So it even had bad directing. Like, I don't think this film had one saving grace. And everybody's talking about the glamour, the glamour, the glamour. where was the glamour? Okay, there was a yacht. I can call like 10 Nollywood films that are not named glamour girls that had that. Like, just look at Ebony Life's catalog and you see a lot of films that can do that. Do you understand? Like, it was really bad. It was very bad. And it had zero semblance of, like, not a story. For Chief Daddy, I'm sorry, but like, if Chief Daddy 1 was already bad, I don't know what you're expecting in part 2. That one is on you. If like you went in expecting it to be better. Like, for Glamour Girls, the first one was a classic. So this basically destroyed it. Like, it destroyed the memories people had of watching it in the 90s. As for Far From Home, all this talk about the one was 5 hours, quality over quantity. If you don't want to watch it, you'd have stopped after episode 2. Who asked you to go and watch all the 5 episodes? That sounds like a you problem. Like, nobody forced you to watch it to the end. In fact, you even had you had the luck of saying, let me even watch only one episode, or I can switch it off after. And you want to went to go and watch it to the end. I don't think that's anybody's fault. And I find it funny because it was like the fact that you kept watching it till the end. Maybe someone secretly enjoyed it. I don't know. Like, there was romance, there was chemistry, it was fun. There were characters. There was every single high school trope was there. In like, if like, there was the jock, there was the athlete, there was the nerd, there was the school bully. Every single um high school trope was there. There were cheerleaders. There was everyone there. And I find it funny that you would call it like, it's not. It's definitely not the worst at all. Like, compared to Glamour Girls, it was definitely not the worst. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Okay.
Can, can I tell you where I am? I am after that, after round. I don't know who won. Here's my thing. I think all of them actually, obviously, they made good points. I think everybody also attacked everybody's thing well. I think one of the things that I think Far From Home was probably the best attack.
Yeah.
But I love Vanessa's creative use of the
volume.
sheer
I loved
volume
it.
of
It-
of
It was 5
of bad.
episodes. There was a lot more
Yes,
volume.
yes.
But yeah. Go
But
on.
you do you want to say Babyface Assassin pushed back?
I like the pushback as well.
The pushback doesn't quite matter for this because we're talking about if you've seen all of this, what is the worst thing? Like so, like, having the option to switch off is, I mean, like, yeah, you can switch off, but like, it's not. We're talking about the content.
I remember there were a lot of people that DNF'd this film. And
That DNF, which one?
Far From Home, right?
Did they? It could be.
Yeah, a lot of people DNF'd it, right? So I do like the rebuttal of you chose to make it to the
But
end.
like, she has to argue about it. She has to do film club.
Have to, right?
Like, no, I don't understand that argument. Like, she has to do the work, and like,
has to. Forced to watch the film.
Well, if you want to defend it, you have to watch. You have to watch the
but
content.
based on the stuff you've watched, right? Then you choose an answer. No?
But like, it's based on the research as well. Like, you have to go research.
No, but you choose an answer, right? We're not giving anyone answers to go research. So, which is the worst Netflix original from the ones you've seen? And somebody chose this one that they've seen, all 5 episodes of.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on this because, like, I mean, like, even if sometimes, like, you can go watch someone else's film because you didn't watch it, so that you can bust your answer. I can't in good conscience penalize watching the whole content for that would be what it would be if you're agreeing with the rebuttal.
I'm not gonna lie.
All right, okay, let's move on. All right, okay, but that's my point, is that, like, I think that Ankal definitely held up our own, and I've always said, like, points for creativity, even though, like, maybe the only thing I think that stuck that didn't come was some performances were good in this, but I thought again Ankal rebutted with a huge quantity. That small performance, because Mashoud's performance was also like he was a side character. If you compare it in the quantity of 5 hours, it's not a lot. So I don't know which one. I'm happy to.
I think most hits were given at Far From Home. I liked the Rotten Tomatoes,
Yes,
the
yes.
Rotten
You
Tomatoes
mentioned
point,
this.
and I did go verify. And Far From Home does have a 79% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
It is certified fresh against the 11%.
Certified.
No, not certified, but it's fresh.
Mm.
It's just fresh as against the 11% of Chief Daddy 2. So yeah, there was that. And I think there were good points from both Chief Daddy and Glamour Girls. Did Chief Daddy? No, Chief Daddy didn't make that point, but I wish they had. But Babyface Assassin made the point for Glamour Girls on the consensus. The consensus of the audience hating Glamour Girls too. The point of positive reviews were viewed as paid reviews.
Yes,
Far From Home,
that was a
that was
very
a
nice
good
one.
point. Far From Home did not have that consensus of it being,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So, also, I do wish Biblically Accurate Barbie had pointed out that Chief Daddy 2 was released on New Year's Day, which did also create a consensus.
And now your chance. You're not fighting. You're not fighting.
But there were two films that had a consensus, but only one fighter raised that consensus for their film, which was for Glamour Girls.
Okay. So where are you leaning? Is what the question I'm asking.
Okay.
I'm my vote would be to the audience for this. I have no one. I don't even have anyone to eliminate. Like from.
Let me see.
If you eliminate one person, or if you think one person won it, I think we can do that.
Okay. First off, can I commend all the fighters for metaphors? There were so many metaphors. Yeah. So I don't know. I think Far From Home got the most hits.
This is why I'm the judge.
I think Far From Home got the most hits. There were more hits, more valid hits taken at Far From Home. Yes, which would make me inclined to take it out of the running. Okay. The most hits and the consensus thing. Although I do think Cal did defend it quite passionately. Did defend its badness quite passionately. And while I do have to agree, and I do appreciate her quoting herself, yeah, I think for me it got the most hits. But also I don't think there was as much build up on the badness of Chief Daddy 2 as there was on the other two, on Far From Home and Glamour Girls.
What are you saying? Pick a person.
I'm leaning more towards Glamour Girls.
You're leaning towards Glamour Girls.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to pick Glamour Girls? All right. Glamour Girls. No. I think I think it was a three-way tie for me. If you think Glamour Girls was just victorious. Being the judge is not an easy thing, is it? All right. Okay, so Glamour Girls is the winner for that one. All right. So that's we have the scores. Was that 2-1-1?
Yes, 2-1-1.
All right. So Kath is through to the finals. We're going to have to have a tiebreaker between Uncouth and Bob.
Sorry,
this will not
between
count.
Babyface Assassin and I'm through to the final.
Sorry. Babyface Assassin. Is having to remember this fighter names. This is difficult. All right. Yes, Babyface Assassin. I'm going to go head to head. In the tiebreaker, it's not going to count towards your points in the final. It's just to see which one goes through. All right. All right. So, are you guys ready? You guys have not seen this question, so the first person who answers first will get to go first. We'll give you a minute to collect your thoughts, and then you have to go. You have to argue your point, and you'll have 1 minute to do your argument, and then 30 seconds rebuttal. I hope that is good. This is like a mini speed round, I guess. All right, are you guys ready? I hope you guys understand the rules. Worth unmuting your mics to get ready. Do you understand the rules, Babyface Assassin?
Yes, I understand.
All right, okay. What I'm muting your mics because it's first person to shout out the answer, just in case you guys shout out the same thing. All right, okay. So for the tiebreaker question, what is the best Nollywood? What is the best Nollywood movie with the number 2 at the end? The best Nollywood movie with the number 2 at the end.
Weather for two.
All right. So weather for two, from Babyface Assassin. Have we had anything from Bab?
No, because what the fuck those movies are two at the end.
Hey, like sequels. Think of the sequels. That's where you have to go.
Does it have to be a movie or can it be a show? Has to be a movie.
I'm sure we'll have 2 at the end. I think I said Nollywood movie, so movie. Yeah, there are many options.
I don't know them.
With the number 2, the sequels. We've discussed one today. That I have to say that studio has a couple underneath their ranks.
My brain is drawing a blank. I can't think of any movies with 2 at the end.
All right. Is it worth helping? We've discussed one just now. I will tell you.
Oh, I'm not gonna say that one. Like, let's be for real.
All right. There are others. One by Aiken Plot. There's a couple by Ebony Life Studios.
Can I give you a clue?
Yeah, if you want to help her, help her.
There's one with Nancy and Adesua.
Yeah,
and
there we go.
Kede Bankole and Uzo Arukwe, the pastor.
I'm not trying to help her.
It's weather for 2. It couldn't really be. I mean, like, I think you could pick.
You did not say Roman figure. Abi was it? Abi Arabic?
Yes,
I don't know.
said,
But
yeah.
you didn't say.
Yeah, I said the number. Yeah.
Yeah, it said the number.
Yeah. Which is a creative answer.
Really?
Yeah.
I cannot understand why everybody's so surprised. But what movies have 2 in the end? Are you guys being for real? Like, am I the one?
But like I just explained one.
I don't know what that is.
You guys can tell her if you want. Do you mind me giving examples?
I can.
If not, we would have to.
Examples. This sets up 2, the wedding party 2, Chief Daddy 2.
All right.
All right. Anyways, this is how I know Vanessa is my enemy. Anyways, let's go with the wedding party 2.
Which one have you picked?
The weather party 2.
The weather?
Wedding. Sorry.
All right. Okay. All right. You're gonna have a minute. Babyface Assassin, collect your thoughts. And then when you start, do you have your timer ready, Mr. C? Yeah, stopwatch. All right. So this one was understandably difficult, which was this. Hey, weather for 2 is a brilliant, but like, hey, this is the fight I would relish as a Nollyfighter.
Don't worry,
oh my! One day, somebody who. All right. All right. Are you ready, Babyface Assassin, to give us your points? The time starts from when you start speaking.
Okay. So I'm ready. So
right,
I would like to start by saying motive. Those 3 words, when you hear them, there's only one film you can talk about. Or there's only one film you can think of. And that is the best film that has 2 at the ending. And it's not a sequel. that's points for that, because most films that have two at the end, they're sequels. But this this is a film. It's a standalone film, and it's one of the most Netflix Nollywood watchers would recognize this film. It's a lot. It's crime. It's romance. It talks about a man, who is trying not to be unfaithful in his relationship. It pays homage to Inception, the Christopher Nolan film Inception. Um, it also has, we always see Esodike, Tope Olooniyan, Beverly Osu. They're always, fringe characters, supporting characters.
All right, that's your 1 minute. You have to be careful. This time goes fast. All right, but I think you said decent amount. All right, okay. So it's up to you, Bab.
Okay.
Fighting for Wedding Party 2. Bab.
All right. The sequel to one of, if not the highest grossing Nigerian movie, but don't quote me, but I think it was definitely one of the highest grossing movies. Wedding Party 2 is a rich and perfect blend of comedy and glamour. And it also does really well with exploring interracial relationships. It sets us up nicely in the glamorous location of Dubai, continuing on the glamour that we already sold in the first movie with this family that we've come to know so very well. And we kind of watch our characters who we're already familiar with go through ups and downs, and also discover love in their relationships and another wedding party. So I don't know what there is to hate about this movie.
Okay, all right. So rebuttals. 30 seconds for your rebuttals. Whenever you're ready, Babyface Assassin, go.
Wedding Party 2 was the start of the horrible sequels in Nollywood. Like this, it started the trend of horrible sequels in Nollywood. It was not as good as the first one. Everyone, it also started the trend of horrible costumes to movie premieres, Arabian Nights, and people are dressing Indians. Anyways, that's by the way. But it was very, it was groundbreaking in the fact that people started making sequels and they started making bad sequels. So I don't believe.
All right. Okay. That was good. That was good. That was very strong. Okay. All right. Bob, whenever you're ready. Well, not whenever you're ready.
Sometimes. Wedding Party 2 promises and delivers a fun story. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and it manages to continue where it stopped in delivering us the familiarity and the love that we're looking for. The weather for 2 does not know what it is. The name, first of all, implies romance, but from there just devolves terribly. The execution is amateur, and everything from the plot to the directing to the acting is terrible. I nothing even the murder scene, the murder mystery is a
Right, that's it. I'm sorry. That's it for the time. Oh, wow. Okay.
I think it stopped because you were about to attack a favorite scene, to be honest.
All right, let's see what were you where are you leaning on this? I don't know how much my bias is gonna play here. When she said motive.
I'm so sorry. I'm already biased from the answer. Answer was so creative.
Yeah.
Weather for 2. I didn't think about it at all.
Yeah.
So points for a creative answer. Points for quotability, motive, and motive. I rate it. What was my other thing? Not a secret. I don't know that this is a good. It was good. It had crime. It had romance. It had infidelity.
I think
his mommy was smoking the book.
What's not to love? What's not to love? But
reference to Inception. Don't forget, it was a reference to Inception.
A reference to Inception. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is very creatively done with
Yeah.
the I think, yeah.
Yeah. And I think she also had the also attack on whether
Trend of horrible
yeah,
sequels
it's
and
like
trend of
that's
awful costume to movies, which yes, you know what, yes. Those are two sins that should not be
right.
forgiven.
Okay. And like, I thought Bob tried to sort of hang in there, but it clearly
I think
did
that's
not.
a good point to say it didn't take itself too
Sure. Sure.
seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It has its moments where the film stops to tell you the message of the film in
Which
that
is love
very
is
moment.
love.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but like she mentioned a couple. The interracial thing, I guess, was nice, and yeah, it's generally lighthearted.
Yeah. Blend of comedy and glamour.
Yeah, I don't know about
I don't
glamour,
know
but
about
glamour,
glamour.
yeah. That movie is
Again,
very
it's
ugly.
not the original. Like
No.
the OG Adesuwa's wedding dress inspired a range of caped wedding dresses.
Mm.
You know,
All
two
right.
didn't have impact.
So, are you leaning ready for?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
All
yes.
right. All right,
Oh
ready
my
for
god, this is a
two.
wild card.
Babyface assassin through to the
Final
to the final round. So the scores, if you're keeping track, is 2-1.
2-1.
Well done. Well done, Bob. There. How did you feel during this fight? It was a tough one. How are you feeling right now? Are you feeling a little down? Um,
No, I'm good because I don't have to keep talking about
Barely
nothing.
hear. Sorry, I can barely hear. Were you talking to me?
No,
no.
talking to Bob.
Bob.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I saw. I'm good. I'm the real winner here because I don't have to keep talking about Nollywood anymore.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Thanks. All right. So we're going to get to the actual speed round. The speed round is actually much shorter than that. It is 30 seconds. So uh, think about your answer first. Can have 30 seconds to think about your answer, and then 30 seconds to deliver it, and then 15 seconds rebuttal. Right. So I'm going to repeat again. 30 seconds from when you start speaking, for your why your answer is the better one, and then 15 seconds rebuttal. So yeah, we'll be judging the points just as before: creativity, quality, and quantity. All right. Is everybody ready? So the scores are 2-1 to to Uncap. All right. Speed round question. All right. Are you ready? You want to unmute your mics for this. I'm looking at Babyface Assassin. Your mic is muted. Babyface
Mine
Assassin.
says she's unmuted though, so I don't know.
Oh yeah?
Okay.
I don't know why.
Babyface Assassin, can you speak? Just so I can confirm your mic
Sorry.
is.
Okay, we can hear you.
Yeah, answer. Yeah, get ready for the question. All right. So
Okay, yeah, back now.
first person to answer, will speak first. All right. Okay. So first question: what is the best streaming platform for watching Nollywood movies?
Prime.
Showmax.
Oh, okay. All right. So we have Prime versus Showmax. Interesting. Okay. I'm gonna give Unkal some time just to collect her thoughts, and then she's going to start building her arguments. Of course, some of the answers that were left on the table. I can't remember apparently the home of Nollywood, Netflix was left out of this. What else was that? Iroko TV. I mean, they've stopped putting out content, but yeah, but left out Ibaka, right? I think, right? Okay, all right. Yeah. All right. So when you're ready, that your time will start when you start speaking on cows.
To quote the Bible, to the swift does not belong the race. Um, while Amazon Prime may have come in a little later than some of these heavy hitters that you have mentioned, it has over time built a collective of quality Nollywood films and TV series. From indie shows like Beyond the Veil to heavy hitters like Brotherhood, Gang of Lagos, The Trade, to light-hearted comedies like Palava and
All right. Time. Okay. All right. So, Babyface Assassin, when you're ready. Babyface Assassin has already shown a bunny fide in, but I can't. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
All right, when you're ready, please go.
All right. So Showmax. Showmax is the home of old, new, and independent and non-independent Nollywood. If you're looking to watch old Mnet shows, Doctor's Quarters, Edge of Paradise, you would find it on Showmax. If you're looking to watch new, new festival type independent films, Ghost and the House of Truth, you'll find them on Showmax. If you're looking to watch African Magic 360 episode shows, you'll find it on Showmax. Everything for the TV watcher to the just
Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Okay. All right. Rebuttals. Starting now, I guess, when from when Uncle
While
speaks.
Showmax is beginning to develop a good catalog, where it fails is in its accessibility. Most of the shows are not accessible to a number of countries. What Amazon Prime offers the industry is an exposure to a wider audience with international reach, which is what Showmax doesn't have. And more.
Ooh, okay. That's good rebuttal. Good rebuttal. Okay. And we'll have Babyface Assassin to close this. So Babyface Assassin, what's your last rebuttal?
my rebuttal is that
Oh, please start Babyface time again. I
okay,
think we lost her.
okay, I'm here now. Okay.
Okay.
So Uncal speaks about the catalog and all of that, but how am I supposed to know when the UI of the app is so bad? Like I don't even know what is new, what is coming up soon. Their social media is also not great. Like when if they advertise their films like 2 weeks after. That's how bad it is. So how do you want the user?
Ooh, oh my goodness. Okay. I actually thought that was much closer than I anticipated.
That's closer than I
Yeah, and I think for me, I'm leaning Babyface Assassin because she went with a slightly more unusual choice than I expected, and she defended it well, and she brought up this the wide the scope in terms of old, new, and festival type films.
Yeah,
And she gave an example.
Yeah, it took me around and around a bit because I think Prime was a strong choice, and then Showmax was. I was wondering how Showmax was going to be defended, but I did give it points for being a creative choice. And again, on Calth is right. Showmax, Prime has accumulated quite a number of good films. Like while Netflix has quantity, Prime has a bit more quality than Netflix does. But Netflix is not one of the contenders here. The range is good for Showmax, but the accessibility, I think calling out the accessibility of Showmax was a good point because Showmax is not nearly as accessible as Prime is.
Okay, so where are you leaning?
So I think when they did the openers, I was leaning towards Showmax. Then we had the rebuttals, and I was like, okay, I'm back to seeing the light on Prime.
Yeah.
And then that point, the marketing and the Prime handler
And the UI.
the UI, yes, and then the marketing, which yes, I think I just remember trying to search Tennis Big Day, and Tennis Big Day came up, and I clicked on it, and they were showing me tennis. So
Yeah.
I'm
Also,
leaning.
if you put an apostrophe or if you don't put an apostrophe, it will confuse. If there's an apostrophe in the name, it will confuse.
Yes, it did that with Tennis Big Day, but then it gave me the name.
Yes.
I chose it, and then it showed me tennis. So I'm gonna have to give it to Showmax.
Yeah, I think I'm with Max as well. Which
Even though I'm just gonna say that point on the marketing, I'm not seeing Showmax advertising anything to me. I'm not seeing it either, but it wasn't pointed out.
Yeah, yes, and that's the unfortunate thing with when you go first. You go first, you get the first maybe the best answer, but you also don't get the last word. So yeah, it is a tactical warfare. We are 2-2. All right, all right, all right, all right. Okay, so are you guys ready? Unmute your mics. Get ready. Question number 2. All right. Babyface Assassin, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Okay. What movie which doesn't have or isn't getting one deserves a sequel the most?
Juju stories.
Aim of fair.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So this time we have a change in the who's going first. Let's see whether that affects them tactically or whether it turns the table around. So Babyface Assassin will start for us, and she'll have 30 seconds for Juju stories. All right.
All right. So it's an anthology film, and there's so many tales and stories that you could even add in a sequel. There's the Madame Koi Koi myth, the Bush Baby myth. Like there's so much you can talk about, and the fact that it is an anthology film makes it so much easier. You don't need to start bringing characters and trying to give them new motivations. You can just make it something new, and it will just be another anthology film based on having the same thing being Juju stories. So yeah, it deserves another sequel.
Okay. Nice and succinct. Actually, some good ones in there. Okay. So we are having a Yumafair, a Yumafair sequel from Uncal Fugitive. Uncal Fugitive.
Um. Sorry. I still have more time to think of what I'm saying now, Abby.
No, that's advantages for first position.
Wow. Okay. So. do-do-do-do-do-do-do. The reason, even though Aimofe might feel like it was rounded up pretty well, it also is kind of left on a cliffhanger with us meeting Aimofe starting his electrician shop. But it doesn't quite tell us if he has completely abandoned his dream of wanting to leave Nigeria. And Rosa's story even more is left on a cliffhanger, and we want to know whether how her life continues, if she marries her landlord, and what she does with her dreams. Their dreams are still
Time. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Rebuttal time. Babyface Assassin. Give us you have 15 seconds for your rebuttal.
Okay. Amofe ended well. Like we got closure to both sides, even though one side might not be as happy a happy ending as the other. Trying to overflog it will just end up spoiling it. We don't need to know what happened to the electrician shop. We don't need to know what happened in the marriage of that's a TV series. We don't need that. It is not life and times of Amofe and the other babe. No, it's done.
The unmute thing is it's slow. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Rebuttal from Uncal Fugitive.
You're not letting me unmute myself. Okay, fine. While you might consider that a series, what Eyimofe needs is a telling of Nigerians seeing themselves through screen, and Eyimofe does that beautifully well. And why can't we continue to have the same? I think the Juju Stories sequel would not benefit anyone because the truth is it wasn't actually quite watched a lot in the cinema, and I don't think the audience would want to see that. Um,
Okay. All right. I think on Cal Fugitive snuck in her first real rebuttal in there. Was not well watched. I do have to say, Babyface Assassin has this one for me.
I think so too.
Yeah, both she picked an anthology, which is just it's
We
just
won't run out of those
just
stories.
make
We can
more.
have more.
And she even gave examples of the kind of the areas which we could go into. And there's one
I
building.
think Uncap started the aim of my point with saying that it felt complete and rounded off, which
I mean, this is Nollyfight. Don't give your opponents even small sniff. So I
concede anything, concede nothing.
Yes. All right. So I think Babyface Assassin's in the lead. 3-2. Okay, but still what?
Remontada.
We still have three. Is it three? I think,
Yeah, 3.
We still have 3 more questions to go. So there's still plenty of there's still time to get it back into it. All right. Question number 3. So if you unmute your mics. Question number 3. Who is Nollywood's best written female character? I will accept the actor's name / movie.
Oba from King of Boys, the first film.
Shit.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go for Isoken.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. This is a film I think both fighters know pretty well. I think yes. Well discussed. Let's not give anybody any. Let's not bias any. Right. Okay, but on count. When you're ready, we had time to think about it. Give you 5-10 extra seconds to just think about it. What characters would you have come to your mind? Angela is one of the ones that comes to my mind as well. I love that character, and especially because I guess Bob gave us that ever since she gave us that quote, and it's stuck in my mind. And yes, Rita was good in that, but. All right. Uncapped Fugitives, you ready? Please give us your answers.
Oba in King of Boys is not only Nollywood's best written villain, she's also Nollywood's best written woman. We meet a woman with diversity and complexities, and she's not just one note. She's a villain, she's a mother, she's a philanthropist, she's ambitious, she's wicked while still being kind to people that she loves. She is everything a person is. She's fully fledged with flaws while still acknowledging her flaws and still seeing herself as strong.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay.
Sorry, the question is best written woman, right? Or did I hear? I'm not sure I heard correctly.
Yeah,
It's
best
written
female character.
Okay, because she said villain. Okay, fair enough. Let me know when I can go.
Yeah.
You can go.
Okay. So first of all, Isoken means someone that is well satisfied or someone that is content. And to me, it kind of played in how they wrote her character. They first of all named her that name for a reason because they wanted to paint her as this, she was supposed to be in her 30s, everyone pressuring her for marriage, which is the reality of women in Nigeria today. And people could not understand that she was okay being what she was, like her name. And I believe that her character was so relatable to a lot of Nigerian women. Finding who.
All right. Okay. Okay. I think I think those are 2 decent openers. All right. And on count with your rebuttals.
Isoken isn't content with who she is. In fact, her name is a misnomer consistently. She didn't know who she was. In the film shows her judging herself and pointing out her own flaws. Isoken is anything but content. Isoken always wanted the marriage. It felt like the pressure came from outside. Really, it came from within.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay. And Babyface Assassin.
Okay, so I'm Eniola Salami in King of Boys. I'm very glad that there was the series because that's her character in King of Boys. The series was not written well. There was nothing really well written about her character in the other King of Boys. I believe it's still the same character, so it counts. It was she.
Okay. All right. So right off the bat, I don't know. I'm not sure where I'm leaning.
I know where I'm leaning.
Where are you leaning?
I'm going to admit a bias here in that I think Oba was a great choice. I think Oba from King of Boys was a great choice.
Yes.
And I think when you asked who's the character that would first come to your mind, I didn't say because it's Oba from King of Boys that would first come to my mind. And I'm with on Cal that, Oba was a good written villain as well as being a good written woman. I like that because it was a woman and written as a villain, right? And then she was multidimensional as well, which I thought was a great point. I thought that was a good point on the meaning, going to the meaning of Isoken's name. I thought that was great. Relatability, I thought that was great. But then the callback to, or the rebuttal of, well, she wasn't content, right? I know and I remember her character, she's content, that's the meaning of her name, that's who she is.
Was the thing, because like I think maybe Uncal said something I think right at the end, maybe she mentioned a thing about how, because I don't remember, because I don't remember her being that not content. I remember her being annoyed by the pressure from everyone else.
I get that.
Yeah, so I didn't see that as.
But she is not just annoyed by the pressure. It's remember when she accepted the proposal as well.
What did Uncalf mention is what I'm asking. Okay,
it's like it was like, it's not just that the pressure is coming from outside, right? It's coming from herself as well, right? She wants to get married. Like, why else would she be accepting a proposal from this guy when she's having this thing with this other guy?
Oh yeah, but like I think the movie sort of says it was kind of a sprung, or I think that was pressure from that moment, because like she came in surprised, everybody's there, and
but let's not but she did keep that engagement going.
I don't think that's a strong rebuttal, because I feel like
but the rebuttal for King of Boys wasn't strong as well, because we're going to the sequel, which was not.
No. I said, what's the best written female character? I didn't
Oba from King of Boys. You didn't say Oba from King of Boys, Return of the King.
They're all King of Boys, not the same character.
I specified.
It's the same character.
I don't accept the character from the sequel.
You need to take your bias out of this, Mrs. C.
I'm not taking my bias
You have to take your bias out of it.
I'm not taking my bias
It's about the points they made. Are you saying you're not taking your bias out?
I'm focusing on the points they made, but I don't think referring to her character in the sequel is valid. It's not valid to me anyway.
I think,
because
I don't know. I think
it doesn't negate, to me, it doesn't negate her being multidimensional.
No, it doesn't.
Right? Which were the points that were raised? It doesn't negate her being multidimensional.
No, but Babyface Assassin's point was that it was ruined in King of Boys Volume 2. That character.
In my answer.
Yes.
I specified in my answer. If
my friend, keep quiet.
No, it's not fair. I'm not taking this because I specified in my answer. If you didn't accept, if you are going to include my the
I wasn't even, because I think maybe Calv had maybe a slightly strong. I think I'm going to go to the audience with this one, because yes, I think I'm going with I think I'm going with Isoken. I think Babyface Assassin made the better points here. So
Also,
we're
your
going to go with the
rebuttal to my
audience.
rebuttal was a lie. Like I'm
We
actually
don't.
finished.
Your
This
point is
is
not. It's not
unfair.
relevant.
It's
Yeah,
unfair.
no,
The audience.
It's unfair because if you
it's
want to,
done. Yeah,
if you want to
it,
fact check, go and fact
time
check now.
for fighting is over. It's over. You will save it. Save this ginger for the next one. All right,
No, I'd
audience.
rather
Okay,
actually just.
audience, please help us.
I don't want
Help.
to do this anymore. I'm going to end this because this is not fair. I specified in my answer King of Boys, the first film.
Wow.
So you should not be doing this right now. It's not fair.
Okay. All right. I think Babyface Assassin won for different reasons. Okay,
Then
so
I'm
we're going
done.
to the
If
How
he
is it?
won,
How is
then
it
I'm
not fair?
actually done. I'm actually
for.
done. Because
All right.
I'm not doing this. Like this just devolved in the worst way. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, I
All
said I
right.
was.
Let's. All right. Actually, we do have Bob on. Bob, did you hear the argument? Do you have someone you're leaning towards? Audience, where are you leaning? If by sign of emoji for what do you call it? For Oba, um if you think Uncouth made the better arguments for Oba, please give us the 100 emoji sign, audience members. And also, and if you think Babyface Assassin made the better point, give us the clapping emoji. You can vote now. All right, so we've got 100. So okay, we have oh, one one. All right, so
I actually
Bob,
think Isoken takes
Bob,
it
where are
here.
you leaning?
Yeah, I think Isoken takes it here.
Isoken is taking it.
Yeah.
This is on. So this, I think that's 4-2. Is it 4-2?
Yeah, and this is the end for me. I'm not doing this anymore.
For
No,
I
no, I'm actually really pissed. I'm actually really pissed
yeah,
because
there's
you should
still
no, no,
two
no, no.
more
Let me
questions.
land, Mr. C. Let me finish because I'm done. This is what I'm going to say, and I'm going to leave because this isn't fair. No, because no. This isn't even about losing. It's about when I gave my answer. You could have chosen to not accept my answer. My
No,
answer
your
was
answer is
no.
fine.
Let me finish now.
Okay.
My answer was very clear. I was specific. I said Oba from the first King of Boys movie. I didn't mention the series. In fact, you should have disqualified Harry Potter for bringing out the second film because that was not the film that she was responding to. But then you
Yeah,
choose
okay.
to go
I
into this
understand.
whole thing and devolve it. So
I
it was
understand.
already not fair from that point.
I understand.
And
I
I'm not doing
understand.
this anymore. It's completely
I
unfair.
understand
And then
your.
for you to then say you don't remember the film, you could have gone and done a fact check of my
Uh,
of my rebuttal.
I
For
don't.
you to
When
say
I
you
said I
don't
didn't
remember
remember the
the film,
film,
just already disqualified. I'm sorry. This genuinely, this just devolved in the worst way. I have no
wait.
problem with losing, but I was very clear in my answer, and you could have chosen to not accept my answer.
You're okay. Do you want me to say? I thought your answer was fine. I just thought that.
But then the rebuttal
Babyface.
shouldn't have counted
Do you
because
want me? Do you want me to tell you
her
why I?
rebuttal was about the second film, not
Yeah,
about the
I
character
understand.
that
I
I spoke
understand that, but
about
like
in the first film. Why
because
didn't
we're
she make a
talking,
rebuttal about who Oba was in the film that I chose the
let's
character
just
from?
look. Let's just move. It's just we're just trying to have a
I'm
little bit
not
of
moving.
fun.
I'm not moving
But
on because I'm
what
not moving on because I count this as an injustice and it's not right.
do you want me to give you? Should I give you the point?
I don't need you to
The
give me the point. I'm done. She can win. I'm actually done. No, I am. No, I am. I count it incredibly unfair because you guys have discounted people's rebuttals throughout this whole film for something that they said. And then this is the shortest round ever. And then somebody says something that is not even targeted towards the answer that I gave. That should discount her rebuttal completely.
Okay, you're right. It discounts her rebuttal completely. Okay, all right. So let's do another question. Then we come. We move. All right. Okay. All right. You go on. I mean, I thought this was gonna get heated. I didn't think it was gonna get that heated. It's not that. It's not that serious. I mean, like, okay, we have lost uncount fugitives. I think by default. Oh, did you have a default? I thought she was the from from a very from two. She was the last person to put point on the board and did very well. So congratulations to Babyface Assassin. Well done. Oh my God, she was serious. Like she was serious from actual the least experience here, and we said, "Don't worry, things are gonna happen." And we had a walkout. What? Don't say we don't entertain you on Nollyfight. Oh my goodness! All right, okay, all right. Babyface Assassin. I mean, not the best conditions to win it in, but how do you
I'll
feel?
take it.
You did great.
Said she was here to win it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually here. I'm here for a heated conversation. I'm sure last like we'll all be fine. But
Congratulations, Lohi.
I, I think it was I had fun. Sorry if it didn't go your way, or if it didn't go the way you thought it was going to go, guys. But thank you so much for participating. It's 100 spaces, and we are still kicking on. Hopefully, we get to do another 100 of these, and hopefully, oh my God, we are
Congratulations,
done.
the C's, Mr. and Mrs. C, 100. That's a huge number. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Everybody
Congratulations
who
to
has.
us for putting up with Mr. C for 100 times.
Yeah, well,
It's not easy.
hey, I've also had to put up with Mr. C for. I had to put up with you lot. 100 spaces of getting badgered, and it never stops. All right, okay. All right, no, but thanks everyone, guys. I thought that was fun time. Thanks to all our fighters. You guys showed up and showed out. The competitive spirit was hot. It's good.
I do this once as a stand-in, and I will never do it again.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
well done to all the fighters.
Yes, especially things like because I think one of our fighters as well like had to move things to make this. I really do appreciate it. Don't take it for granted. Don't take all the time you spend with us for granted. I really do appreciate it, guys. You guys are actually the best, and thank you for helping us do this little community thing we've been doing for the last few years, especially as speakers. And shout out to my bestie reputation is definitely in jeopardy as we speak.
I
But
think it's already. Don't be
I
on.
think there's a bridge there. I'm willing to build that. And it's not destroyed. But thank you so much, guys. Love this, and we'll see you next week. I don't know what we're watching next week. Maybe primary. Oh, definitely like better. It could be definitely like better things. It just. I need to make.
I'm excited.
I'll put up a
Even though I
poll.
haven't watched it.
I'll put up a poll. And it should be fun. But
What else is that?
we'll see.
Well,
Like
let's see,
depending
yeah.
on. But thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And bye bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the episode. If you enjoyed listening and would like to join live, just follow us on Twitter at IrokoCritic and join us every Sunday 6 p.m. West African time on our spaces.